We got Keith in Elizabeth, New Jersey, who's a multiple caller. He's an arguer, and he's Catholic. But first, we're going to go to Ryan in Leesburg, Virginia. Ryan, you're on Heart of the Matter.
Shawn, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Happy New Year.
Good to have you.
Okay. Hey, Shawn, I have just only two questions. Is it necessary to get your name out of the LDS Church before you start attending on any other churches, or no?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
You can do it. I tell people to do it just because it sends a message to the church that they're losing people and maybe they ought to change things. But you don't have to do it.
Okay. And one other thing, Shawn. According to your knowledge, like as a Christian, are we supposed to follow the law of tithing all the time? I mean, 10%? Or is it a free will or free gift or free responsible, whatever you want to give to the church?
Well, let me give you a quick backstory to that subject. In the New Testament, in the Gospels, Jesus talks about tithes maybe 2 or 3 times, but it's always in reference to it being abused or not being lived right by the Pharisees. Never once is it talked about in terms of something that believers in him need to do. And then when you get into the epistles of Peter and James and John and Paul, it's never, ever talked about at all as anything. And here's why. It's part of the law. They'll argue it's not part of the law, but it's part of the law. And here's why, Ryan. If you say to somebody you need to tithe, which means 10%, and Christians will say that's a minimum, which really drives me nuts. If you say you got to tithe or you should tithe, then we are beholden to a law, and that is, have I paid my 10%? And then those who pay their 10% believe themselves to be better than those who don't. And those who don't pay 10%, they might pay 8, they might pay 1, they might pay none. They feel themselves worse. And so what God said is, listen, we're not going to use laws in my church. Jesus says my church is going to be governed by faith and love. And if you feel, like you said, Ryan, if you feel like giving something, give something. If you don't feel like giving something, don't give it. It's got to be from a cheerful heart. It's got to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's got to be from your cheerful and responsible heart.
That's right.
Not a law of
Not law and not compulsion. And you know, I firmly believe, if you go back to the Old Testament all the way through, never were widows and the poor. The poor were giving like smaller birds and things, but they were not tithing in the same way. The church back in the Old Testament was taking care of the widows. And yet there are churches that will put widows and the people on a limited fixed income and the poor, and they will use tithes and offerings on them just to make sure that they have enough money coming in. And it is a sin. It's a crime. It's not biblically supported, and I'll argue with anybody who tries to say that it is.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your insight, man.
You're welcome, my brother.
I haven't taken my name yet from the LDS Church. I mean, they are trying to get hold of me like crazy. From my old word, from the new word, they are trying to get hold of me. Hey, we need to talk to you. Can we get hold of you? I always just decline. I just say I'm so busy.
Well, if that's bugging you, then take your name off and ask them to leave you alone. But if, you know, in reality, Ryan, they don't take your name off. They never do. I was excommunicated. My name's still on there. All it says is Shawn McCraney, NM, non-member.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. God bless you, Shawn.
Same to you, my brother. Take care.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.